Welcome to Vitamin OC. I'm Joanna Weiss.
And I'm Whitney Gomez. Every week we bring you your recommended dose of civics and civilization in Orange County.
And today we are so excited to bring you a real local issue that is heating up here in Newport Beach. We have Benny Hallock here, who is the chairperson of the Save Newport Beach Golf Course.
Hello, ladies. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming.
So Save Newport Beach Golf Course was created to prevent the Snug Harbor Surf Park project from coming to fruition. And just to level set everyone, under discussion is a massive project on the location of the current Newport Beach Golf Course over at the corner of Irvine Avenue and Mesa Drive. And it's just over the 73 from John Wayne for
Correct.
People who aren't
Under the flight path.
And part of the Newport Beach Golf Course 3 holes would be replaced with 5 acres of surf lagoons surrounded by viewing platforms, seating, warming pools, and a spa. That's kind of the picture.
It's also a 10-room hotel suite for transient athletes.
And there's a 3-story clubhouse, fitness facility, yoga center, staff areas, locker rooms, retail space, a restaurant, and a snack bar. And as you mentioned, space for 20 athletes to stay on site, the transient athletes, and space for substantial new parking
Correct.
With such a big facility.
Right, and it's twice the parking that is currently there.
I saw the picture, the diagram. I thought it was an AI generated joke. It was so magnificently detailed. It almost had a Disney feel to it.
I'm against it, but I'm kind of in awe. It's like you said.
It was impressive.
It's very impressive. What they're proposing is a beautiful place.
So it's been under discussion for at least 18 months publicly. There have been many steps along the way, including an environmental impact report. There was a public hearing on September 4th, and the Newport Beach City Council voted 6-0 with 1 abstention to approve the project. And there's another public hearing at the Newport Beach City Council on October 28th. Is that all right?
September 4th was a Planning Commission meeting, and that was approved through Planning Commission. On the 9th, the City Council voted to go over the airport's determination as inconsistent with local zoning and airport policy. The FAA controls the sky, 5 miles all the way around. Let's call it 5 miles all the way around an airport. 5 miles in every direction. John Wayne Land Use Commission governs the ground. So they have a say in what anybody does. The City Council can vote to override that vote, which I've come to find out all of Fashion Island was done that way. It's not supposed to be over certain heights and all that stuff, but the city usually overrides everything the airport says. Most of the time it's something that's on the north or south side of the airport, or a house in Dover Shores is a foot too tall. So they override it. It's not a very big deal. But with this, it's right under the flight path. Crash Zone 1 is not affected by this project because that's the back 9 that's currently owned by the county. But the affected area by what they're proposing is Crash Zone 2, 4, and 6. And you're only allowed a certain amount of people in each one of those zones. And that is one of the reasons why they turned, in the renderings, they turned the main 3-story building to the corner of Mesa and Irvine, because that's the less impacted section of Crash Zones. So they're allowed to have more people congregate in that area versus where the restaurant sits currently or where the range sits currently. So that was the 9th, and then the next City Council meeting is October 28th, and that is where the city will approve the project or not.
Okay.
So if we back up a little bit, so the Newport Beach Golf Course was opened July 4th, 1976.
Correct.
And it means a lot to a lot of people.
It's a community treasure.
Right. So can you tell us a little bit about how you got involved in leading the opposition to this project?
I host Fins and Fairway. It's a memorial fundraising golf tournament on Memorial Day weekend, and all proceeds go to support veterans' causes, first responder causes, and children's causes, community stuff. A lot of the neighborhood takes part in our tournament. And when this came up and they wanted to really oppose it, a handful of the neighborhood grabbed me and asked me if I would lead the team on this and be the face, and leading a grassroots opposition. And it's what we've done. It's all grassroots, organic. We haven't paid a dime for marketing. We haven't done anything other than social media. We've identified certain people in each neighborhood that will canvass the neighborhood with their flyers and discuss things. Because there's a lot of what ifs. There's a lot of unknowns, whether that be from communication with the developers, landowners, or even the city. And we're just trying to make it through. We want to see the golf course continue to be successful. I live down the street, and that golf course is, at least the range is full at 6:30 in the morning.
The
It's
range.
very, very popular. The whole golf course is popular. The pro shop, even though it's a very small pro shop, it's a very, very popular pro shop.
I have bought many a husband Christmas gift at that pro shop.
Yeah, it's not like he's just some old guy selling
He's got great
second-rate
stuff.
stuff. It's all top of the line. He's very knowledgeable about the game of sport and the equipment. His employees are as well. The starters and the general manager, everybody loves them at that golf course. Everybody knows them by first name. It's a community. Everybody there's become a family. And then you move over to the restaurant, to Original Pizza. That's just another extension of the family. Guy comes in, stops and grabs balls at the pro shop with Steve, goes and sees the boys, Daniel and Oliver in Peggy. They go hit the range, they go golf. When they're done, they stop and have a beverage and a cheeseburger or a piece of pizza at Original Pizza. It just completes the chain. A lot of the youth organizations hold their nightly dinners there. After it's just a meeting place for the community. The golf, the range, the pro shop, and the restaurant. And it would be a shame to lose it for what we're essentially calling an elite club. You know, there's rumors of memberships being sold for $250,000.
Oh my gosh.
How's that a community treasure for anybody that lives in that community? Very few people in that community could even afford that. If they have so many private members, when's the public going to get a chance to enjoy what they're trying to build and at what cost? There's really nothing to base what the cost could be other than Palm Springs. And that's $200 an hour. Just from the looks of it and people I've spoken to, this will be a lot better than Palm Springs. So is it going to be more expensive for an hour of fake waves?
Okay, so you were elevated into this leadership position because you run the golf tournament, and the other opposition to it, I mean, losing the community treasures, obviously losing the range, losing the full golf course. Are there traffic considerations, other things that
Tons. The neighborhood's really worried about the traffic impact. There's some other underlying issues that fall behind this project that could really decimate that community with traffic. That neighborhood's already a parking lot, but minimum 2 times a day. Irvine Avenue just screeches to a halt early in the morning and starting at 4 till 5:36. It's a parking lot. If you're going to add more people, whether it's this project or projects that we've proven intent to do behind this project, it'll just kill our neighborhood. Yeah, absolutely kill it.
Can you give, actually, before we continue, some of the basics of the Newport Beach Golf Course, the cross streets of where it is, and then you've mentioned a few times the neighborhoods right there. If you could talk about those neighborhoods.
Sure. So the golf course is located at 3100 Irvine Avenue. That is directly under the flight path of John Wayne. It splits between Mesa and Irvine Avenue. Traditionally Santa Ana Heights. For many years, that was an unincorporated area of Orange County. It is now incorporated into Newport. You have the ranch market across the street, catty corner from the golf course. Across the street, you have the anniversary tract of homes. Catty corner from that, you have a couple fairly large apartment complexes mixed in with some commercial property. Traveling along Irvine, you have the golf course, the range, and you have a mix of commercial units as well. Going up Mesa, that goes into the Santa Ana Heights tract. It's a very eclectic neighborhood. You can just be driving through and you go by 2 horses, and then you got a bunch of kids on their bicycles, and then you have some elderly folk walking through, and everybody seems to wave and say hello. That's an equestrian neighborhood. You walk through that neighborhood and there's either a sidewalk and a dirt path for horses. They'll run through the neighborhood and get access to the back bay and then do the back bay loop. It's a great, diverse neighborhood.
It's a special place. I was so surprised to find it when I first discovered it.
It's not just Santa Ana Heights. That whole community, everything considered the east side Costa Mesa, Santa Ana Heights, Anniversary District. It's very diverse, but it's great. I mean, it's where I grew up.
Our first home was on Eldon Avenue, so we were just right behind Jack in the Box.
Okay, so Del Mar and Eldon.
Yeah, Del Mar and Eldon, exactly. That was our first. We rented for a couple of years, and then we were able to buy. We were so excited to be able to own there and have,
Right.
buy our condo.
It's a great place to grow up. It's a great place to live. It's a great place to make memories and learn other people, not only their opinions. Not everybody agrees with the majority of the community about opposing the wave pool. There's still people that like the idea. And I'm not faulting that. It's their opinion. They think that would be better for them, whether it be for themselves or for the community.
Can you tell us who is behind the project?
From the start of this, I knew who it was. I've never said anything bad about him in public. I don't have anything bad to say about him. In fact, in some of our social medias, I've only replied to one or two comments, and they were attacks on me. And I flat said, look, I have no problems with him. I'm kind of impressed and proud of the guy for what he's trying to do. But it's plain and simple fact, it's the wrong neighborhood. If he wanted to do it at, say, Tustin Air Base or the Great Park, all the energy I'm putting into opposing this, I'd be on his side 100%. And like I told you earlier, this is a guy I've known for 36, 37 years. So it kind of sucks that two guys that have known each other for so long are on either end of this. I've also not been a voice in any of our mutual friends' ears, plus or minus. They're all adults. They can come up with their own opinions. But what I can say is the land is owned by a family land trust, and they operate under Newport Golf LLC. The wave pool, is owned by Back Bay Barrels LLC, and that is the gentleman that I've known forever. The land trust, most of them are all from Newport. Some don't currently live in Newport anymore. But more importantly, none of them live in the community. On the peninsula, further away from this community. Ruining this community, it's nothing off their backs. I mean, the only time they drive by this place is to go to the airport. Maybe to work, a couple of them go to work, but that's who owns it and who's proposing the project.
And tell us what's going to happen to the golf course, because I read they're keeping 15 holes, which seemed odd.
It does seem odd. Find me a 15-hole golf course online. They don't exist. There's 9 or 18 traditionally. There's some parameters that they're going to lose with some certifications, SCPGA, PGA, because it's not a true course. It's not a true 9 or an 18. They have stated publicly that they have an 80-year land lease for the wave park. And they've also stated publicly that they don't have a lease for golf, to continue golf. They don't have a lease with the back 9, which is owned by the county. The county has said that they'd like to see the golf stay, but Snug Harbor has publicly said that they were going to keep golf. Proof of that's in the pudding, as they say, but there's no lease. If they truly wanted to keep golf and keep everybody happy, why didn't they introduce a redesign of 18 and make it a true par 3 golf course? On the back 9, there's a handful of par 4s. They could have moved things around and made it a true 18 executive course. And that would make a lot of people in the community happy.
If they did that, would you stand down?
I would have to say yes, but at the same time, we've already proven intent of projects behind the wave pool. So we think it'd just be more of more smoke and mirrors.
Okay.
If they had started that way, we would have drank the Kool-Aid and followed. But, there's this beautiful thing called the internet and public records, and we've proven intent for more projects beyond the wave pool that will definitely kill this neighborhood.
Okay.
And John Wayne owns some of the land under the golf course. Can you talk about what the concerns might be with that ownership?
So I don't believe John Wayne owns it as an entity. The county does own it. The community was successful in stopping an airport expansion a handful of years ago. And that property is zoned to open space, so it forever will be a parking lot, a park, or a golf course because of where it sits. With the airport expansion was putting a bridge over the 73, much like our campus at that point, Irvine Avenue, and parking small planes over there. That got shut down. The community fought and won, stopped that. As you can imagine, the sheer cost of building another bridge over the 73, and that's supposedly why the 73 dips there, so that it can handle those bridges and not stop traffic. I think at this point, if we're successful in the golf course staying and we can get a sizable land lease, it will stay a golf course. I'm confident in that. I mean, the county has voiced its pleasure to keep it a golf course. And if we lose the front 9, it will, become a 9-hole, which it doesn't kill the community, but what happens across the street will, behind the wave pool and all that. And you go from, it won't have a range. There's just not the space for it. So is the golf course going to be as busy as it is now and enjoyable by the vast majority of people that enjoy it right now?
So if so many people are against this and the impact on the community is so negative as you're illustrating to us here today, why do you think the City Council voted 6-0 in favor?
The Planning Commission voted 6-0.
Commission.
So the Planning Commission is box checkers, and the developer did a good job of checking their boxes. That includes traffic, tribal impacts, biological impacts, building. They are requesting 165 waivers for just the wave pool property, and that's a lot. That is 4 times more waivers than most projects ever ask for. But it's a hard property to build on. It's crash zone. It's FEMA property. It's in the middle of a community. So there's a lot of waivers there. But as far as their vote, it was really just they checked the boxes. They did their due diligence. They got the right things done. And I can voice my concern on some of those, especially with the Back Bay Conservancy being so heavily involved now, them disputing some of those checked boxes, but they've checked their boxes. And as far as the community support that we've received and the potential outcome of the city council approving this, it's private property. Bottom line, it's private property. But what's stopping us from tearing our houses down, building a 6-foot canoe and painting it pink and calling it, the Messiah or something? Community standards, building practices, our neighbors complaining about it, so on and so forth. And that's kind of what they're doing. They're building just under 80,000 square feet of building on a property that should only have 20,000 square feet combined, 3 stories tall, with a 5.5 acre pool, and removing all the plants and species that call that home with non-native. And what happens when they're 2-year construction time to all those species that we're calling it home? Even if it's just a squirrel. I mean, we don't have squirrels in my backyard, but that place has a lot. And I like to joke that place has a special squirrel there. It's the only squirrel I've ever seen in town that will walk right up and eat out of your hand.
Oh my God.
They're all fat.
Wow.
All the squirrels are, because there's so many people there that they just come right up and start eating right out of your hand. There's butterflies, other insects. There are some non-native trees on the property that are actually protected under California state law, but not protected where they have to stay. They just need to be moved. So there's 3 Torrey pines, 2 California live oaks. But the distinction of why they're protected in this area is they're not native. They were brought here by tribes. This area was well known to be home to a tribe that was one of the only seafaring tribes in Southern California. Even though California's one side's bordered by an ocean, our tribe here, and there's another one in San Diego, that were known as seafaring tribes.
So you'll be there October 20th?
I will be. Yes, there'll be me and about 1,000 of my friends.
Okay.
We did the rally on July 3rd, which is a great turnout. It was right when we started this whole opposition, and we had just over 500 people there. We didn't have very many people at the Planning Commission meetings because we wanted to respect the process that the city has to go through, and we didn't want to inundate them with a horde of people. We still filled it up pretty good. Between us and the developer, we filled up their room, the council chambers. We had a lot of great people speak on both sides. Fortunately, we had more people speaking that day. I had a Vietnam veteran that went up and spoke. He's now retired. He's had his hip and his knees replaced, so he doesn't get around very well, but he loves playing golf at that golf course. He plays in my tournament every year. It's well known, very, very well known in Newport. And now he's on our side because of the fact that he can't get around. He can't surf anymore, but he can sure as heck golf. And it keeps him outdoors, keeps him active, helps with his rehabilitation and his knees and his hip. And it's a lot of why I'm doing this is not only our veterans and first responders that, yes, we fundraise for, but veterans that are disabled, where a golf course helps vast majority. They can get in their golf carts, go to the ball, move around. And I've seen guys drop their crutches and swing a ball, pick their crutches up, and move on. Retirees, especially our retirees on a fixed budget. It's the only affordable golf course in Southern California. Our kids, are you going to give your kids $200 4 times a week to go surf? Or are you going to give them $20 twice a week to go golf?
Yeah, to me, the range leaving is really heartbreaking. That's such a great spot for kids and people starting out.
Right. And with it also being the most affordable golf course in Southern California, it's also the most beginner friendly. I'm not a great golfer, but if I went to go play at Pelican Hill, I'd be shunned. They'd push me out. At Newport Beach Golf Course, if you have somebody that's a better golfer behind you, they'll sit and wait, or either ask if they could play through. They're not going to bully you and call you everything in the book and say, go somewhere else, kook. It's just a great place to be, not only as a community, but as a golf course.
So if people wanted to get involved in opposition to the surf ranch, what are some ways that they can do that?
So you can come onto our website. It's keepnbgolfcourse.com. You can sign that. That's our digital petition. On there is also, it gives you a chance to leave a comment. That comment does get transferred to the city council. We have about 3,000, last count, that have gone to the city council already. Our socials are Save Newport Beach Golf Course on Instagram, X, and Facebook. We've actually gone viral a handful of times on Instagram. It's a learning curve for me, but it's eye-opening on how quick things can move through social media, especially if you're doing it right. We have one post that has almost 300,000 views, and we're just talking about an opposition to a golf course. For me, the biggest joy is seeing the veterans, the community, our retirees, especially our kids. You guys have kids, so you're a little different. I don't have kids. So me seeing you with your kids out there having fun is amazing. I mean, it does remind me of being a kid at the beach at Blackie's. When these guys were teaching me how to surf, my dad's teaching me how to surf, and all these guys, there was a bit of a community there. But it's seeing grandpas with their 7-year-old grandsons and granddaughters teaching them how to golf. It's absolutely amazing. And then you see these, forgive me for the expression, but these old biddies, old retired women, they've got their little foursome, they've got their cute little golf outfits on, they've got everything's matching, and it's their, some of them do it daily. It's cheap enough that they can do it daily. Some of them have their standing meetings, like, some old men have their poker. Some guys have their golf days. It's great seeing some of these retirees enjoy themselves later in life in something that they can enjoy outdoors. And obviously the veterans is something that's so near and dear to my heart that I've been a veterans advocate for over 20 years. I have helped veterans get into rehabs in the middle of the night. I've helped veterans get into PTSD clinics. It's something that's very near and dear to my life. I didn't serve. I was driving race cars. So I didn't serve then. I serve now. I have a lot of friends that did serve, and they come and help me. I have a lot of high-level combat veteran friends, retired lieutenant colonels, sergeants, special forces, and they're all great people, especially when you get to know them in an open environment. Moving along with a golf ball, and you get to actually have conversations and get to know people. It's great. I just want to see my community strive, and not only is it my opinion, but it's the vast majority of our community's opinion that it won't happen if the golf course is taken away from us.
Well, we thank you so much for being involved in the civic life of Orange County. You're exactly the kind of person we've been looking for to feature on this podcast, people who take the bull by the horns, get out there, do what they think is right, get involved. That's what the political process and the civic process is really about. So thank you for coming here to talk to us about everything that you're doing.
Thank you. You just nailed it. I think it's what's right. We're all raised with, stand up to bullies for others, support the weak, do good things, be the voice for people that don't have a voice. My parents taught me that. My parents were always the first ones to step up to help anybody, whether it was pulling over the freeway and helping a young woman with a flat tire, or helping a family down the street, or helping a random person. It's what I think is right, is supporting and standing up for my community, and a lot of people that don't want to have a voice or just don't have a voice. It's just standing up for people.
Thank you again for being with us today. Thanks for your civic activism. As Whitney said, it's so important, and we're happy to highlight you today. And to our listeners, thank you for joining us for your recommended dose of civics and civilization in Orange County.
We'll see you next time on Vitamin OC.